Hey, what's up everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sibusiso Masombuka, aka Sbu the Swaggy School Teacher. So the purpose of my YouTube channel is to create a virtual classroom for learners and educators all around South Africa. So please like, subscribe, and even click on the bell so that you guys can get a notification each and every time I upload a new video. My personal teaching philosophy is to teach children the way they learn. And as a millennial Swaggy School teacher, I advocate for this notion and believe that we as educators need to be transformative in our method and manner of teaching. I also strongly believe that this will encourage a more holistic educational experience, and I look forward to being a part of the change that I would like to see, be it big or small. So, as per YouTube norm, I'm going to dedicate this very first video to getting to know about me. And I've also asked my Instagram friends to ask me a couple of questions about myself as well as the teaching profession. But before I get to those questions, let me tell you a bit about myself. I am a 27-year-old educator at Greenside High School in Johannesburg. I'm also the sports administrator and the grade head to this year's grade 10s, the class of 2022. Shout out to them, love you guys so much. I am also the manager to the Pirates Women's Rugby Senior Team. I'm very passionate about education. I'm an outdoor guy and I really like a good laugh, and that's all you need to know. All right, so let's get to the questions. What made you choose teaching out of all professions? So when I was a very young kid, I always played school just to curb the boredom, but I don't think that made me want to become a teacher. But when I was in high school, my teachers always said that I would become a teacher, but I didn't think that it would be a cool profession to get into. So I went to go study Psychology and Anthropology at the University of Johannesburg. And when I was in my third year, I was also working as a retail store manager at one of the stores in Sandton. And one of the ladies from head office asked, Sbu, what are you actually passionate about? Because we see you're doing a good job here, but what are you most passionate about? It was just a normal, casual conversation. And I said to her, gee, I've never actually thought about that. And I said to her, I'll get back to you tomorrow. And the following day, I went back to her and I said to her, teaching. I've always wanted to become a teacher. She said, why don't you pursue it? And Struce Bob, like the following day I resigned and I got a job at my old high school after calling them 1,000 times, and yeah, the rest is history. If you were not a teacher, what other profession would you get into? So I really like to talk, and I really like to be around people, and I really like to be outdoors. So I would probably be, if I wasn't a camp facilitator, which I think is a really good job, a great job, I'd probably be a tour guide or a radio or TV presenter, probably one of those. What grades do you teach and what subjects do you teach? I teach grade 8 to 12 life orientation as well as grade 10, 11 and 12 business studies. And funny enough, those are actually the subjects that I got distinctions in matric. Yeah, I was that kid. What do you need to study to become a teacher? So you need a Bachelor of Education degree, which you complete over 4 years, or you can do what I did and get a normal bachelor's degree in any sort of faculty, and then you can do your Postgraduate Certificate in Education after, which is 1 year, and that will qualify you as a teacher. Was it difficult to get a teaching job at an ex-Model C school? With my experience, I actually found it to be a lot easier to get a job at an ex-Model C school because they obviously have school governing body posts. So I actually found it a lot easier than it is at a township school where the only amount of posts that they have is the ones that are given by the government, which is not a lot of teaching posts. Hence the class size is a lot bigger. But for my experience, I found it a lot easier. And there's a lot of transformation in ex-Model C schools. It's not as what you think it is. You can actually do well, no matter what race, gender, or color, whatever you are. And what are the tips that you have for great lesson plans? So the first one is to actually plan it, all right? A lot of teachers don't like to do lesson plans these days, but it's so important for you to prepare your lessons. Always have a really great introduction, all right? You don't want to introduce your lesson as good morning class and today we are going to learn about, no. You really want to have a great lesson, whether it's you starting with a video or any form of visual aid to sort of draw the children towards what the content is. And then obviously your body is the knowledge, the skills and the values that you're trying to teach the kids, and then you close it up with a really great conclusion as well. And I always think that when you study your audience as an educator, where your kids come from, the context of where they come from as well, then, and also learning what their interests are, then it helps you understand those kids better, and your lessons will always be appealing to those kids. That's the secret. All right, how did you find a teaching style that caters for your learners? So I've got multiple personalities, I really do. And how I really found a teaching style that matches with my kids is, again, by studying my audience and really knowing who those kids are. I'm turning 28 soon, and I'm getting old and getting outdated with certain things. But in order for me to cater for my kids, I really need to be up to speed with the things that they like as well. So I think knowing your kids very well and just being yourself, the kids really like it when you're yourself. And always be animated as a teacher. You need to entertain those kids from when the period starts to when the period ends. You need to be entertaining those kids all the time. What are the qualities that make a good teacher? All right, I think empathy, passion for the profession. Sounds like I'm rhyming, but I'm for real. You need to have compassion. There we go, another rhyme. You need to have empathy, and you need lots and lots and lots of love to give. Yeah, because kids need a lot of love. Yeah, those are, I think, the qualities that make a really good teacher. How do you manage discipline in your classroom? So even though I'm a 21st century teacher, I'm a bit old school as well. So our kids still learn in books, all right? So the first thing they do on the first page is a cover page with they need to decorate it pertaining the contents of the subject. The next page is where they're going to write down their classroom rules. So I always give the kids the leverage to come up with their own classroom rules. So I tell them the importance of having rules, and then I ask them to come up with those rules. I find it that kids find it a lot easier to follow the rules that they have come up with than you coming up with rules that the kids just find to be difficult to follow. Another thing is to always be prepared and always be disciplined. You as a teacher need to prepare for your lessons and prepare for anything. Like if there's going to be a power outage, we live in South Africa, there's load shedding every other day. So you need to know what is your backup for when your PowerPoint slide cannot be shown or be presented. What are you going to do in any given instance? You must always have an activity somewhere. So always be prepared. And another thing is be disciplined as well. Be on time for everything. And if you want the kids to respect you, respect them first. Yeah. How do you find the time to do it all? So like I mentioned earlier, I'm a sports administrator, a teacher, I'm a grade head. I'm also a manager for a Pirates women's rugby team. And I'm also a student. I'm actually doing my honors in education. How do I find to do everything? I actually have a timetable and I write down everything. I schedule my life all the way through. I schedule everything I do. And again, discipline. If you have a lot of discipline, then you'll be able to do a lot of the things that you put yourself to do. And I always find that you also need to be honest with yourself. If there's certain things that you can't do and you feel inundated, then say so. Speak out and say you can't do certain things. And if you can do certain things, then go ahead and do it, right? But I really think that discipline and a good time management skills are really great skills to sort of manage everything. How do you separate your professional life to your social life? Very difficult one at first, but one thing that I've realized about teaching is that you really can't separate your professional life with your social life. It becomes a part of you, it's engraved in you, but just a note to the young teachers as well, just be aware of the things that you put up on social media. You need to be responsible. We're not saying don't have a social life, but just be responsible. Everybody refers to you as a teacher, even when you go to the mall. If people know that you're a teacher, they'll say, hi sir, hi ma'am. So yeah, you need to act accordingly and responsibly as well. Yeah. I'm currently doing my final year in psychology. What subjects am I going to do in my PGCE? All right, so you normally do the subjects that you major in your third year. So for example, in psychology, I'm assuming you're doing psychology modules. So you will probably do life orientation. So if you did history as one of your third year modules, then you'll do history in your PGCE. If you did accounting, then you do accounting. If you did economics, you do EMS and economics. So yeah, it depends. So it depends on which university you go to. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? So I really want to grow in the education profession, more particularly towards a leadership role and in growing and becoming a subject specialist. So I really want to become an HOD in the next 2 to 3 years, hence boss. And I also would like to become a deputy principal and obviously a principal one day. But you know, also for my YouTube channel to grow, I want to reach as many learners as possible and as many teachers as possible as well, and to inspire other teachers as well to start their own YouTube channels where they can offer these subjects there. And in the next 10 to 15 years, to start my own school. Yeah, I dream about it all the time. I don't have a name for it yet, but I know what the culture of the school is going to be like. I know the type of teachers that I want in my school, and I know the kind of learners that the school is going to produce. So watch this space. And now for the very last question. How did you navigate to your succession in teaching? Ooh, that's a very fancy question. I think I've actually found that having a mentor in the teaching profession really helps you quite a lot. Seeing somebody work just as hard encourages you to work as hard or even harder. And I also find that they help you with navigating through the profession. So I've got a mentor for my subjects that I teach. I've got a mentor for the sort of leadership roles that I want to get into, and I also have a mentor for the extracurricular stuff that I do. And I find that when you align yourself or you attach yourself to those people, they really help you a lot and encouraging you. They don't do the work for you. They really just, their passion just filters into yours and it just grows. But yeah, I think that's, and also being goal driven and being disciplined and being really, really professional. I think that's really what's helped me in the last 5 years to get to where I am right now. So yeah, hey guys, thank you so much for your lovely questions, and it was lovely to sit here and, you know, on the hot seat. That's really what it felt like. But just to give you a bit of background about my YouTube channel, I'm going to be offering lessons to learners in grade 8 to 12 for life orientation. That's all of them. Yeah, and to learners in grade 10, 11, and 12 for business studies. So those are the subjects that I currently teach right now. And I'm really hoping to grow the channel and to get more other teachers to collaborate with me and have them as guest teachers who will be teaching a few concepts in their subjects. And yeah, just reaching out to as many learners as possible and encouraging other teachers to start their own channels. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your time. And please get everybody to know about this awesome channel, and I really hope that, yeah, I just reach out to as many kids as possible. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in my virtual classroom. Don't be late.